crit monster, fiery fiend, and overall fantastic damage builds are what you're going to see in this video. We're going to present 3 separate Wylder builds that you can try out, and I'm going to show you the relics, tips, and tricks for each one of the builds, and which weapons would work best for the particular build we're talking about. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, the basis of our first build is going to be a critical strike build. We're going to be putting as much damage into our critical strikes as possible. That means any weapon or anything that you find on your expedition that can give you extra critical strike is going to be absolutely pivotal for this particular build. But besides what you find in your expeditions, we have 3 relics here that do an absolute wonderful job of working together to give you a ton of damage and quality of life. In our slot 1, we're going to have the Wylder's Earring. It's going to give us 1 additional character skill use, which gives us an awesome amount of mobility. We're also going to be getting fire in the area when we activate our art, and stamina recovery upon landing attack. For slot 2, we have our Everjail Relic. This is going to give you treasure on the map. Every Everjail you kill gives you more attack power, and you're also going to get a Stone Sword key in your possession. This is one of the most powerful relics in the entire game, and I recommend if you're doing the Everjail meta, you need to have this equipped. Now, in our final relic slot, we're going to have improved critical hits +1, improved critical hits, and critical hits earn runes. I'm pretty positive this is the Everdark Sovereign Gaping Jaw fight relic that you get, but someone correct me down in the comments if I am wrong. Now, it obviously makes it easier that we have the Ordovis's Greatsword with this build, as the stamina and poise damage of this weapon is absolutely diabolical. However, this is a rather easy weapon to get, and I have found that I get it in the majority of my Wylder runs. But regardless if you have it or not, you can still get a decent amount of poise breaks with the heavy charged R2 in order to get off these awesome crit strikes. Now, you could also find colossal weapons to use with this build as well, because breaking stances with colossal weapons is incredibly easy. I also recommend any type of guard breaking boost you can get, or heavy charged R2 boosts you can get from weapons also will go really well with this build. Now, as far as where to get all of these relics, the Wylder Earring comes from the Remembrance of Wylder. You're also going to go to the shop for the Everdark Sovereigns to get the slot 2 Everjail relic, and slot 3 comes from defeating the Baron of the Night. Now, for build number 2, like I said in the first build, it's very easy for whatever reason to find the Ordovis's Greatsword, so that is one of the weapons that I am using here, just because it does fantastic damage to the Night aspect, and you can guard break and poise break really easily, but those are not the reasons that I am using it. I happen to just turn this into a jump attack build, even though I have nothing that enhances my jump attack. Typically, 3 jump attacks with 2 Greatswords equipped is going to break stances rather easily, so that's why I have those equipped. I believe 2 of these are RNG, and one of them is going to be the relic you get from the Everdark Sovereign shop, which is going to be our Everjail relic. As I said in the first build, this is one of the most powerful relics you can use for Wylder, or really any character, on any given expedition, so I highly recommend that you slot this in one of your slots. But for the very first slot, we have improved Greatsword attack power, which is phenomenal for Wylder. We also have increased rune acquisition for self and allies, and changes compatible armament skill to Poisonous Mist at the start of the expedition. Now, for that third attribute right there, that is completely conditional. I would have liked to get something different, but the Greatsword attack power and rune acquisition for self and allies is also rather nice, so that's why I chose that for slot 1. As I said, in slot 2, we are rocking the Everjail relic, and for slot 3, we're going to be having Art Gauge is going to greatly be filled when ability is activated. We're also going to have stamina recovery upon landing attacks. Obviously, stamina recovery is fantastic, and Vigor +3 just to give us a little bit more health. Now, this build overall is just a fantastic quality of life build that gives you some really nice damage on your expeditions. Now, what's crazy about this as well is I only did 2 out of the 5 Everjails that were in my expedition. I didn't take full advantage of my relic slot that gives me more power for each Everjail defeated. So if you do that, you're going to be doing way more damage than you currently see here, even though we're still doing a really good amount of damage. As far as weapons that I would use for this build, any type of Greatsword, obviously with Wylder, is going to be what you want to use. However, if you can find something like the Golden Order Greatsword, which by the way, after 150 hours, I have never seen, but regardless, it would still go incredibly well with this build. Or if you can't find that, the Ordovis's or Sword of Milos is also going to absolutely shred with this particular build. And lastly, your priorities in your expedition should be as followed. You should try to get as many Everjails done as you possibly can. Also, after you get all of those, make sure you have at at least 5 flasks from the churches around Limveld, and once you reach right around level 10, book it to the castle or whatever shifting earth you have available to you in order to get as powerful as possible. Now with this next build, I need to emphasize one very important thing, and that is this build does not have the Everjail relic, and you're going to see just how broken and overpowered that yellow Everjail relic is when you don't have it inside of your build. This build is one that I like to use because it just feels great to use in your actual expedition. You can still do a decent amount of damage with it, and some of it is RNG depending on what perks you find on weapons and what weapons you find in general, but overall I have found that this is a very good build that just feels fantastic to play. So for our relics, we are going to have the Wylder's Earring, which is going to give us another character skill use, which is awesome because that grapple gives you a crazy amount of mobility. We're also going to be activating fire in the area when we use our art, which is also great for passive damage, and we have stamina recovery upon landing attacks. In our slot 2, we have the second Wylder relic, which is going to be the larval tier. It's going to greatly fill your ability gauge when your ability is activated. It's going to have +3 arcane and ultimate art gauge +3, so you're going to be getting your ultimate art rather quickly in this build. Now for our third relic, this one I believe is complete RNG. It's going to allow your standard attack to give a follow-up after you use your grapple, giving it a fire affinity for a short amount of time. We're also going to have a stone sword key in our possession at the start of the expedition, and we're also going to have +1 poise. Now this is a fantastic relic to use with people who are also using the Everjail relic, because you can have that stone sword key right away and be an extra great team player right off the bat. But as I stated, this is a fantastic build for getting through your actual expedition. I love to run this build when I'm doing duos or trios because I find that it benefits the team rather well, and it allows me to get to Everjails quickly, allows me to do a lot of damage to night bosses as well, and overall it's just a fun build to use. Now as I stated, the Everjail relic is the most overpowered relic in the entire game, but I didn't want to do 3 identical builds because I wanted to make sure I had a nice variety here in case somebody got tired of using the Everjail relic or just wanted to challenge themselves a little bit more with a solid build. But what do you guys think of these builds? I know some of this stuff in Nightreign is complete RNG, depending on what weapons have perks for you and what weapons you find in the actual expedition, but I feel like I've wrapped up 3 really nice Wylder builds here, and I'm pretty pleased with it. You guys, with all that being said, those are my top 3 Wylder builds that I have been able to put together that I've had the best results with when it comes down to pure damage. I know a lot of this game is RNG, so some of the relics are pretty hard to come by. However, if you can snag them, you're going to have absolutely wonderful results going through your expedition. So if you enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. I would love to do a build for each individual Nightfarer or a top 3 builds for each individual Nightfarer, so let me know if you want to see that down in the comments as well. And we also have a Discord, which will be linked down below if you're looking for other Nightfarers to play with. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching until the end of the video, and until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.